Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I have a deeply personal story to share, a journey that spans 5 years of what I believe was a happy marriage. My wife, Lisa, and I had built a life together that many would consider stable and healthy. We were partners who rarely argued, consistently supported one another, and generally enjoyed a comfortable coexistence. That's what marriage is supposed to be, right? A bond where you grow together, constructing a shared life and trusting that you will always have each other's backs. Yet, recently, a sense of unease crept into my life, one I initially dismissed as simple stress or just a rough patch. It was those subtle shifts in behavior that became harder to overlook as time went on. Lisa, who used to be my affectionate partner, began to change. I remembered how she would greet me with warm embraces and lingering kisses whenever I returned home from work. Now, those kisses had transformed into quick pecks that felt more like a formality than a sign of love, similar to greeting a distant relative rather than a spouse. Our conversations, which had once flowed effortlessly, dwindled to mere exchanges of information, often filled with disinterest. I would ask about her day, and her responses became short, lacking the warmth and laughter that used to characterize our interactions. It felt as if we were merely going through the motions of being a couple rather than genuinely connecting. Then came the unpredictable mood swings. One moment she would be lost in thought, the next she would snap at me over trivial issues. Whenever I asked if something was wrong, she would insist she was fine, leaving me more perplexed. The more I tried to rationalize her behavior, the more it troubled me. I found myself reminiscing about our early years, where we could talk for hours, sharing our dreams while intertwined in bed. Now, it felt like she was gradually pulling away, like a tide receding from shore. I put in extra effort, planning special date nights and doing little chores around the house in hopes of sparking some reaction. But nothing changed. One night, as I lay in bed, the weight of silence between us felt unbearable. It had been months since we shared an intimate moment, and I began searching online for ways to reconnect with a distant spouse. The advice often emphasized the importance of physical touch, which made sense. Our physical connection had diminished significantly. So, I decided to reach out and take her hand, hoping that a simple gesture would bridge the growing gap between us. However, when my fingers brushed against hers, she recoiled as if burned. "Just leave me alone," she said coldly, the words hitting me like a punch to the gut. I turned away, feeling helpless, but tried to engage her again. "Lisa, talk to me. What's wrong?" My voice was soft, but she remained silent and rigid, desperate for any response. I placed a hand on her shoulder, but she snapped at me. "Don't touch me. I can't stand you." Her words struck me deeply, leaving me feeling numb and questioning whether our marriage could ever be salvaged. As the days passed, I observed small but concerning changes in her behavior. Lisa began falling asleep in odd places, often at the dining table or on the couch, which was highly uncharacteristic of her. Mornings were marked by her grogginess, and I would hear her rushing to the bathroom, suggesting she was experiencing some underlying issue. Most troubling was her sudden secrecy. Lisa, who had always been open about her whereabouts, began disappearing without explanation. I contemplated the idea of following her, but ultimately decided against it. Instead, I opted to hire a private investigator. After a week of observation, the investigator confirmed my worst fears. Lisa was seeing someone else. This revelation was the missing piece I had been searching for. It explained her detachment and avoidance. Confronting her would have been easy, but I realized she had already made her choice, and I wouldn't beg someone who had given their love to another. With a heavy heart, I decided to file for divorce, ensuring it would come as a shock to her. One evening, I returned home earlier than usual, searching for a document my lawyer needed for the divorce proceedings. While rummaging through our bedroom, I turned towards Lisa's side of the closet, hoping she might have accidentally placed it there. Instead, I stumbled upon a plain white envelope containing a pregnancy scan result. My heart raced. Lisa was pregnant, over a month along. The implications hit me hard. Was her emotional distance linked to this? Could this be the reason for her defensive reactions? A more terrifying thought crept into my mind. Could the child even be mine? I needed answers immediately. When Lisa returned home, I confronted her without hesitation. "How long have you known you were pregnant?" Her frozen expression spoke volumes. "I was preparing to tell you," she stammered. I questioned why she needed preparation to share such significant news, and in a moment of panic, I asked if the baby was mine. Her hesitation was telling. "Of course it's yours," she replied, but I found it hard to believe her. "We'll do a DNA test." When she broke down, confessing that she didn't know who the father was, it felt like a death sentence to our relationship. I had sensed something was wrong for months, and now I had the confirmation I never wanted. I calmly informed her that divorce papers would be ready soon. Lisa pleaded with me, but I was resolute. There was nothing left to discuss. The divorce process was arduous. Lisa fought for assets and support, but I remained attached, allowing my lawyer to handle everything. Once the DNA test confirmed that the child wasn't mine, her facade crumbled. The court ruled in my favor, and she left with nothing. I have no regrets about leaving. Had I stayed, I would have been raising another man's child, trapped in a lie. Months later, I learned the full story of Lisa's affair. When she discovered her pregnancy, she had gone to her lover, expecting him to step up. However, he wanted nothing to do with the baby, and Lisa's reality shattered when she realized she had risked everything for someone who didn't want her. Instead of confronting her choices, she directed her anger at me, which explained her erratic behavior. By the time I understood this, it didn't matter anymore. I had already walked away. I'm grateful I paid attention to signs. Many people ignore their instincts when something feels off, convincing themselves it's just a phase. But if someone doesn't want you, you will feel it. I did, and I'm thankful I listened. It's better to be divorced than to raise a child born from betrayal. That is my truth, my lesson. If you've made it this far in my story, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Would you have handled the situation differently? Would you have forgiven her? Or would you have done exactly what I did? Walk away. Know you deserve better? Share your thoughts. And if you found this story valuable, please consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for listening, and until next time.